Yes, you know what it is. You know the time. Boston has entered the chat. She's Natalie Nori in for Travis Thomas. I'm George Belecci. We're here from the PNC Bank studio. Natalie, great to have you back on the chat. You came on not too long ago. I was worried if you'd want to come back or not. You obviously had a good enough time. You're back on Boston has entered the chat.
I'm back. Exactly. Got the invitation to come back. Took it right away. Took me 2.5 hours to get here today, but couldn't wait for it, George. Glad to be with you.
2.5 hours. What time did you leave? What time did you get into the Watertown area?
My issue, and this was something I tried to get ahead of this year, being a little more prompt with my time. So the idea was to get in the car by 12:15. Didn't get in the car until 12:30. But you can never. The Boston traffic is unpredictable. It's always there, but it's unpredictable. Just how long it's going to set you back.
And that's you like getting into the Boston area like 2:33. There shouldn't be traffic then, but there always is.
Always. And like I don't know what other cities are like New Jersey or something, but
Jersey, it's fine, but like by 2-3 o'clock, you should be okay. Like 4:30 is a dead zone. Like that's when you don't want to be on the road. Boston is all the time.
Yes.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
Leaving for Maine, I've hit traffic and I don't understand it at all.
And the key is like you have to be patient with it too. Like to talk about the New England road rage, like it kind of runs in our blood anyways. But like you just have to be patient with it because everybody's going to the same place. You'll get there when you get there. Rather get there in one piece, right?
I just throw on Grateful Dead. That just mellows me out. And then that's how I approach my traffic. Hey, so we got a full show for you guys today on Boston Has Entered the Chat. We're going to create our own 100-meter sprint in honor of Noah Lyles getting the gold by 0.0005 seconds. Keegan Stiefel's down at Gillette. Matt Judon spoke today. More open book than ever on why he's practicing again, but what he wants from the Patriots. Keeks has all the updates from down there. And Team USA women's basketball getting bronze in 3-on-3. So we're going to build our own 3-on-3 team because the men's team needs as much help as they can get. First, let's get into what's trending. First thing we saw today. It's unofficial, but today's Calzone Day, Natalie.
Is it?
Because there's a Bruins fan out there. He put calzones on the line in Game 7. You see it on your screen. But here's a tweet that he said, if the Bruins beat the Leafs in Game 7, I will give up calzones for 3 months. This is 3 months since May 4th, 2024. He had his first calzone in three months. That's a long time to go without a great food like that.
Yeah.
But I love that it's now unofficially Calzone Day.
Do you like calzones that much? I'm not a huge calzone person.
I go like maybe one calzone a year.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in that mood, I'm getting pizza, I'm getting pasta. I'm not going calzone.
No.
I'd split a calzone with someone, but
yeah, I mean, like, first of all, I love the fact that you're putting something on the line for the Bruins because I feel like there's a lot of unspoken like bets, if you will, for a lot of fans who say, okay, if this happens, I'm going to do this.
I'm going to get this tattoo, this haircut.
Yes, the tattoo is a great example. Yeah, I think people really put on a lot on the line for these kinds of things, but a calzone is probably not where I would go.
That's what, and so I think this, if you had to put a food on the line to put it on the Bruins to win Game 7, let's say it against the Leafs, right? Yeah. But that's how much faith you have in them. But you're willing to take a risk. Like, what would that food be?
So that means that I'm not eating a food for 3 months. It's out of my diet.
Yeah, if they win, I wonder if they lost. What would happen? I guess let's say if they lose, you can't have it for a year. If they win, you can have it, but you have to wait 3 months.
Okay, well, you know what I would say? Like, I respect people who do this, but I'm a meat eater. So I could not, I think I'd have a very hard time going vegetarian. Again, I respect people who do that, but if I couldn't have meat or if I was putting meat on the line.
You'd give up all of meat? That's insane.
I mean, I don't know. See,
he did calzones.
Okay.
He didn't do like all the pasta. No, I'm looking out for you here.
You are. I appreciate that. You're being an advocate.
That's a faith you have in the Bruins. Yeah, I'm looking out for you here, Natalie.
I'm just thinking about something that I love so much that I would like be willing to give it. Maybe I'll go with like an iced coffee. I'd save a lot of money doing that.
You would save it. But I was thinking the timing of this, right? It was May.
Yeah.
So you would go a bulk of your summer, majority of your summer with no iced coffee.
Yeah, I think
but
that sounds good.
But it's worth it to see the Bruins win a Game 7.
Yes. Okay. I would 100% do this. Dunkin' Donuts too.
Yeah, dude, you were about to give up meat.
Well, I was trying to think of something extreme.
Chicken,
what would you give up?
I was thinking like I would give up Taco Bell for 3 months. Like Taco Bell's my favorite food. Bell. But that'd be doing myself a favor.
Yeah.
So I would put
coffee.
Lasagna on the line, and it's my homemade lasagna that I learned from my mom. Yeah, once a month I make it, big pan. Next time I make it, I'll freeze some, bring it to you.
Yes, please do. Are you Italian?
No, I'm Lebanese Armenian, but my mom could cook everything in the world.
Okay.
So I can like her lasagna is famous and like back in Jersey, even with all my Italian friends. So I would give up lasagna, but that's how much faith I'd have in the Bruins.
Okay.
That if they win, I can't have it for 3 months, worth it. And it was worth it to see that Game 7 win.
Yes.
But I'd have to go a year without it. I'd give up lasagna.
So,
but not pasta. Not all the pasta, not Italian food. I'd give up lasagna, not the whole thing.
Carbs. Yeah, and see, like the Taco Bell thing saves money, helps yourself out. Same with like an iced coffee thing. It's just like, I would save a ton of money if I wasn't going through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through every day. But So they did win Game 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so he went 3 months without it, and today is the day. Yeah. Calzone day. Is it officially Calzone day or just his calzone day?
It's calzone day.
Okay.
But one thing with this is like you're not going to get a calzone every day. At least you're going with something you get daily, right?
Yeah, like
you get a calzone like once a month maybe, so it's like 3 less calzones. I don't know his calzone intake, but
no, but hey, good for him. Stuck to it.
It would be worth it to not have lasagna for 3 months to see the Bees win Game 7 like that in that fashion. All right, moving on to the NFL. NFLPA has informed the NFL and Fanatics they're not permitted to sell Marvin Harrison Jr. jerseys based on the wishes of his representatives. This is weird because he was originally holding out on his rookie deal. He didn't want to give Fanatics the green light to use his likeness here. But once he signed his rookie deal, that gives away the fact that they can sell your jersey. So he's like asking for a solid from Fanatics. And if I'm Fanatics or the NFL, I'm not doing this. Like, you're a rookie, and yes, you're Marvin Harrison Jr., and you want this leverage, but we're selling your jerseys. You signed your rookie deal. This is the case for everyone, so we're going to sell it. I would not take him up on this. I'd be like, dude, it's in contracts. Get better lawyers, get better agents, because you should have done more homework here.
Yeah, I mean, like something he said about it, he's just like, I just got drafted. I want to take things one day at a time, just kind of enjoy the moment, be happy while I can kind of thing, which I get that. But at the same time, it's such an exciting time for someone when this happens that it's almost like, why wouldn't you want to take advantage of it, right?
Well, it's also like this is making your day-to-day more stressful and like more on your mind. Yeah, he has a legal team handling it.
Yeah.
But if you just sign the contract and go use my jersey, then you are enjoying it day to day.
Yeah.
And it's less on your mind.
I was just gonna say it's easier. Here's my jersey. Go ahead.
Weird legalities in this. Like he has a New Balance sponsorship. He obviously has a top 5 slot contract coming his way of guaranteed money. So like he's fine. And his dad's Marvin Harrison.
Right.
So again, he's been fine.
Right.
His dad made NFL money. So I think you're creating more stress you don't need.
And do you think people are gonna want it more now or less because of how, like, when it finally, if it does become available, will people want it more or less because of this?
Yeah, maybe like incrementally though. Like I think people would want that jersey no matter what because he's the best receiver in the draft. He's going to be one of the best receivers in the NFL one day. So maybe there's people that would buy it because they're like, yeah, way to stick it to the man. But like, I think that's like a 1-2% impact. It's not like he's going to become the most popular player in the world because he's doing this,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I guess I was just going to say that. I don't really see the benefit. I don't really see the benefit in this, but it's kind of like to each their own. I guess go for it. We'll learn from what happens here. And so will other athletes, I'm sure.
I chalk this up to having a bad team around him.
Yeah.
There's stuff that should be a priority of like you want that, when it comes to your likeness, comes to percentages. This is just one of those like let it go. Launch your own clothing line. Like we see individual athletes more than anything. Like with him and his image with no Cardinals logo on the shirt, launch that and you could find your profits that way, but not this way.
Do you also think that it kind of, I don't know, like puts a stake between him and the relationship with the team as well?
No, this is more Fanatics thing.
Yeah, okay.
I think it'd be fine. It could be a distraction of like his teammates getting asked.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay,
if he was saying like I don't want to be affiliated with the Cardinals in any way, then
that would be a big deal. Yes, but this is just like don't use my name, don't use my number kind of thing.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
and like you said too, of like this should be an exciting time. You want to enjoy it. An exciting part is walking on the street and seeing a kid wear your jersey.
Yes, 100%.
And he's taking that away.
Yeah, I mean, like, and also like a sense of pride too. It's like, oh man, that's my name, that's my number. Like, why wouldn't you want that?
Yep.
I don't get it. I don't get it, George.
I don't get it either. All right, so you've been following the Olympics, obviously.
Yes.
So Noah Lyles won gold, men's 100-meter sprint, won by 0.05 of a second.
Yeah.
First place was 9.784 seconds. Second place was 9.789. Third place was 9.81.
Yeah.
So that's how close the margins are to be the fastest person in the world.
Yeah.
Huge for Noah Lyles. He's very polarizing with his comments of, well, NBA players aren't champions of the world because, how do you call a world championship? He loves his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He paints his nails. Big moment for guys that paint their nails, like him and Caleb Williams. Maybe it's a, it's saying what happened down the road. But this was cool to see. And one of the sickest finishes, even the NBC play-by-play guy, this is his 6th Olympics, calling it. He got it wrong. He was like, Jamaica won.
Yes.
But it was a literal photo finish. So anyone giving him crap, it was a literal photo finish, and it did look like Jamaica won. I think that was such a cool moment in the Olympics. And Noah Lyles, credit to him, man. He has a lot of haters, but he backed up his talk with his action.
And that's the best way to do it, right?
Yep.
So, like, he's like, just watch me perform. Go for it. Even just watching the replay, initially I thought Jamaica had it too. Like it just looked.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the yellow bib or whatever. He's crossing the finish line, and then you're just going along with the commentators there. But then it came down, like you said, to like
literal
milliseconds.
It was
whatever
his
the
chest
number
crossed
was.
because Jamaica
Yes.
guy's foot crossed, but it has to be your
Yes.
chest or your torso.
Okay.
So not even your head; it's when your torso crosses.
Now, do you think that should be a rule change? Do you think the foot should dictate it?
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I get it, but I think torso does matter because
Yeah.
I mean, old times when you break a ribbon, I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I don't know.
think it's
mean,
cool.
I actually got goosebumps watching this.
Yeah.
I love track, first of all. The 100-meter dash is arguably the best event,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. I used to run the 100, the 200, 100 hurdles.
What was your time in the 100?
I don't even want to tell you, George.
9.784.
9.783.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes, by 1
yeah.
second to beat Noah Lyles.
Chest cross, totally.
Yeah.
No, and I did the hurdles too, but I mean, that's a hard race.
Yep.
And like you talk about the anxiety, and we can touch on that as well. You talk about the anxiety at the start line for what I would feel at least. You look to your left, you look to your right, and you're like, all right, this is the fastest person in the world here. And then you take off. But just the emotions before that race, and then to have USA across your chest, to see, you didn't even know who the winner was when you crossed the finish line. You had to wait and see. So
Yeah,
that
he was
there's-
staring like
yeah.
full on waiting
And then
for what the
boom.
result will be.
Name tag.
Yeah, it
he
takes
just
it
ripped
off.
That was so cool. But yeah, track is sweet. And he even spoke out after this, and he was just like, I deal with anxiety, I deal with depression, I deal with
Yeah.
ADD. You saw that on Twitter, and your ex. And he was like, why not you? Don't let the things
Yeah.
that you are define you. Why not you? And I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool. He shed light on something that a lot of people deal with. And,
Yep.
hell of an athlete.
Yeah, I mean it's sick, and he's won in 2022. So then the 200-meter final, that's going to be Thursday night for the Olympics.
Oh yeah.
That'll be a second go against a Jamaican runner, Kishane Thompson.
Yep.
So it was like a neck and neck finish with them. But it's cool that he's put on the spotlight, and this is huge for U.S. Olympics because we haven't had a male take gold in the 100 meters since 2004
Right.
with Justin Gatlin.
Yeah.
So he's bringing that back, and we've seen the dominance of Usain Bolt for so long.
Yeah.
Other guys from other countries. It's cool that Noah Lyles is doing this. Also, Noah Lyles,
Yeah.
the son of Keisha Kane Bishop and Kevin Lyles, Seton Hall grads. So you guys are welcome.
to get that in there, George.
Yeah, Seton Hall University, the Seton Hall University,
That's
gave you guys
awesome.
a gold medal winning Olympian and a person that's bringing USA back to the forefront.
I think that's great.
So watching this, we're going to do this kind of draft style. We're
Okay.
going to make an 8-person race.
Alrighty.
8 non-athletes you would want to see race.
Non-athlete.
Now, you being the guest, me being a very nice host, I'm going to give you first go.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm not even going to argue, but who's the number one on your list if you'd want to see in a 100-meter sprint? And this could be you just want to see them run. Like, it could be Drew
Yeah.
Carey. Like, whose line is it anyway,
Yeah.
Drew Carey? Or it could be someone like Michael B. Jordan, let's say. Like,
Yeah.
he's a really well-in-shape actor.
Yeah, see, you could. That's the thing. You could go with someone who works out, is active. I'm gonna start strong here, and I'm gonna set the standard. I would really I'm going with a guy, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh,
I love him. First of all, I love
Yep.
you, Ryan Reynolds. But
There you
I
go,
think
get the word out.
he's a hoot. So what's good about this is I think he would have an advantage in making like people laugh around him, maybe getting under
Yeah.
their skin in kind of a funny way. I don't think he'd win this heat. I don't think he would. Maybe he would. Sky's the limit. But I just think that he would be. I don't even know how tall he is. I guess I should figure that out. But I just think
That's
he'd be
fine.
funny to have in there.
I'm jotting down. So you have Ryan Reynolds.
I've got Ryan Reynolds in there.
I like that. You're thinking of the markability, too, of all this.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not taking height into it. I'm having fun with this.
Yeah.
But Ryan Reynolds, yeah, you Google his height.
Yep.
Because I'll give you my number 2. So the first person I jotted down, I was thinking actor as well. I think this is someone that would actually win because he's a psycho. I'd go Tom Cruise. So you're talking about height.
Oh my goodness.
I think he's like my height. So he's around like 5'7", 5'8".
Okay.
Right? Maybe he's shorter than me. I don't even know.
Wow.
But that guy is so psycho, like
You're
of like
right.
wanting to be the best. I think he would take training so serious that he would actually be a surprise victor.
I think you're so right about that's a good one. So first
See?
of all, Ryan Reynolds is 6'2", so
Oh,
he's
geez.
got a couple inches
Tom
on
Cruise is
your
dumb.
pick. Tom Cruise though, animal, yes, because he does his own stunts and he'll do
That's
them
what I'm saying.
repeatedly over and
Yep.
over and over again,
Yep.
and just to get the shot. So he is. That's a very good selection.
Thank you.
I
I like the
that.
Ryan Reynolds pick. I like the Reynolds pick.
Oh
All
gosh.
right, who's your second off the board?
Vin Diesel?
I think he can move that well.
Vin Diesel? You don't think he can?
I think he'd be slow. He's a big dude. He's yoked, but I think he'd be pretty slow in a dead-on sprint.
I think he would bring a good oh gosh, just like dynamic to this group. So
Like
he's
aerodynamic because he's bald.
Maybe. Yes. He wouldn't have to worry about that at all. So he's 6 feet tall. He's 57 now.
Oh, yeah.
He was a celebrity crush of mine growing up as well. And
So that's why.
I just think he's kind of like, he's got some grit to him.
Yep.
I think he'd be a competitor, but I don't really know if he'd be in the top 3, 4 for that
I don't think he
matter.
would. But he's a competitor, so you got to give him that.
I mean, Dominic Toretto. I don't know. You take that in. I feel like that would be kind of funny to see. I'd like to see him run. I think that's more like it.
I just love your top 2 picks of like Ryan Reynolds. You're like, I love him. And then Vin
Love
Diesel,
him.
you're like, he was my crush. So, just own it. I'm not hating. My second pick, I'm going
Okay.
John Wick. Like, I want Keanu
Okay.
Reeves, but
Like a character.
dressed as John Wick,
Yeah.
pistol in hand, blood everywhere, in a suit. But also, if you put the guy, spoiler alert, if you put the guy that killed his puppy at the end, then I think he's going to win it. Because as
Yeah.
we see, nothing will stop him if
You're
you kill
so
his
right.
dog.
George, that's why I didn't watch that movie.
No, you don't see it happen. You just
Well,
see after effects of it. Not literally after effects. You hear it, you see it. Like Hollywood lets you know it's happening without showing it.
Yeah.
You can watch it. It's a great
Because it was a beagle, right?
Yes. Cute
Yeah,
little
I
puppy.
mean, I
and they
like-
ruined his car too, his Mustang. Spoiler alert again. Sorry, guys.
I like beagles.
It's a beginning. You'll forget.
I will genuinely not watch a movie if an animal dies. Just putting that out there.
Even
right
if you don't see it.
I mean, my brother, he's
You
a
ever watch
huge...
Marley and Me?
No, God,
Okay.
no.
You don't see it die.
Oh, man.
Spoiler alert. I just ruined 2 movies.
Okay, well,
It's been out for 27 years. If you haven't seen it yet, it's your fault.
I would never see it.
All right, who's number 5 in this race?
We were talking about this just before. I just think it would be funny to see a man of this stature run. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg.
I like that.
He might be...
That's all around entertainment factor.
Yeah, he might be a little out of space taken off into this one, but I think we were talking about the lanky arms, the lanky legs. I just think it would. You talk about someone you just want to see run. Here's another one. I'd love to see how Snoop Dogg moves.
Okay.
Is
I like
he?
that.
I don't know if he's an active guy at all.
I mean, he coaches football. Like, he coaches his son's football teams.
Right.
Loves football.
Yep.
I've seen him throw a football and catch. It's a lot of length.
Yeah, just arms.
And he's not like that big. So I think it'd be hilarious seeing him run.
Yeah.
Might win it. I don't know. Maybe sneaky fast. We'll see how his lungs are. I don't think he smokes that much though. He just like does edibles. So I think he'd be good.
I don't know.
So I'm
Yeah.
going with this. This is pure
Okay.
entertainment factor.
Yeah.
Do you see the video of Michael Rubin when he threw a baseball?
No.
It's terrible. It is like you think an alien's throwing it. Like never
my
done
God.
it before.
You're kidding.
Worse than 50 Cent. Yeah. So I'd like him in this sprint, just like some redemption for Michael
Yeah.
Rubin. But also I think it could be hilarious, and I have no problem laughing at a billionaire because they're billionaires.
Okay, so who do we have so far?
We have Ryan Reynolds, Tom
Reynolds, yeah.
Cruise, Vin Diesel, John Wick, Snoop Dogg, Michael Rubin.
Okay.
So we got 2 spots left. This is your
2
last
spots
pick.
left.
This is your last pick.
Okay. I wrote a couple more, but I might go with Mark Wahlberg. Somebody who I know works out,
Okay.
takes his nutrition, his health very seriously.
Did not see that coming. Okay.
Another gritty guy, just like the New England representation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see this guy. Okay, first of all, aside from this being like an 8-person heat, just seeing like a production with all these people in it would
yeah,
be
of
amazing.
course. Yeah, it'd be like Netflix would get the rights
Yeah.
to it. It'd be a whole doc leading
Yeah.
up.
I
It'd be
mean-
like 3 hours long.
He's not. He doesn't have too much height on his side, I guess.
I don't think so. Him and Tom Cruise could be in the
yeah.
lane next to each other.
Low center of gravity, but we know he works out. So somebody who lifts like that,
Yes.
who knows? Like he could he could do pretty well, I would say. But we know he works out, knows he takes care of himself. But how can he run? We don't know that. That's why I'd like to see.
I like it. Last one I went with the YouTuber. I Show Speed. If you're gonna call yourself Speed, I have to see you in like a dead-on sprint.
Boy.
Now I don't know if there's anyone here that'll really put a threat to him, but like just get him in a race, get him running. Let's see his time.
Oh,
You definitely seen him. Like yeah, now that you look
okay.
him up,
Yeah, I had to look him up.
you definitely see him. So that's where I would go on
Oh
this
my
one. So
gosh.
who do you think wins it?
You know, I think your picks were nicely calculated, George. I'd put, okay, we're talking about putting something on the line here. Calzones, money, what you have you.
Who would you put a calzone on that they'd win?
Tom Cruise.
Wow.
I feel like I would.
I like that. Short,
I
but you
don't-
know he's gonna be like nuts training about it.
Yes. I actually don't really know I Show Speed. Sorry to him.
So apparently he's fast. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nickname.
Yeah, if you say you got wheels, then let's see it. But I think Tom Cruise is a good choice.
I like that.
Who would you go with?
I would actually go with I Show Speed. I think he's the youngest, and his
Yeah.
nickname's Speed, so I guess he's sprinting a ton. But I was between him and Tom Cruise, so I would go Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Let's go I Show Speed second.
Who would come in last? Snoop.
Ruben.
Okay.
I think Michael Rubin would come last. But he's rich, so he probably like trains, so he'd be in like decent shape. But I think that on sprint. We're not going to go the 1 through 8, but cruiser speed wins it. Michael Rubin comes in last.
Okay. That was awesome.
All right, now we have to trademark this, put the concept
Yep.
together, present it to Netflix, and then say we have exclusive rights and we'll sell it to Netflix.
Exactly.
There
And then
we go.
let's get
retirement plan.
Yep. There we go.
All right, on more serious talks, let's bring him in now. He's at Gillette Stadium. It's Keegan Stiefel. Keegs, I kind of got it right. I said Keegan Stiefel because I was stuck between Stiefel and Stiefel, but it's Keegan Stiefel. Hey, big day today at Gillette. I know full pads, emphasis on the run game, but more importantly, Matt Judon meeting with the media again. First time he's speaking since returning to practice after everything that happened last week. What was it about? What stood out to you with Matt Judon and what he shared with the media and all you guys today?
Yeah, very honest guy, Matt Judon. He played a little practical joke on everybody. He came out. Jelani Tavai was his interpreter. Didn't really answer the first couple of questions, but once everybody got down to the nitty gritty and really pressed him, he was honest and he pretty much gave his point of view on everything. He deferred some questions to Elliott Wolf, Gerard Mayo, Matt Groh, but I'll say that I think the way he's handled this, I was critical last time I was on saying that, going out to practice and essentially being kicked off the field was not the right way of going about it. I think today and the last few practices, coming out and performing and answering questions as openly and honestly as possible, I think that's how you do handle it. So, being critical last time, I'll come back this time and say I think he's turning over a new leaf and he's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, you said it when he was asked what did they say in the conversation. He was like, who? Gerard, Groh, Wolf? You go talk to them. Same thing, too, when I was watching the presser. He was asked, do you want more and what changed for you to start participating? He had some going on with them, and he basically kept saying for those, go talk to them. The one that stuck out from me was he was asked if there's a contract that he points to and that he wants. And he goes, there's a guy that gets the highest paid. Everyone falls in line from that point. I know last season I got injured. But coming from the season I was injured, that's not where my market is, but it's not $6.5 million. Talking about what he's making right now. And then he said he loves football, hates the business aspect of football. But the business aspect of football is that you held in last season, asked him to take your money from this season, push it up to last season where he made $14 million, and now you're stuck with 6.5 to 7.2. So where do you think it moves on from here? Because it sounds like he's still not happy, but he also shared, I'm going to show up because he doesn't want to get fined $50,000 every time he doesn't practice.
Yeah, I wouldn't like the business side either if it led to me making less than I'm worth. I think that's just kind of common sense there. He's put himself in a tough spot where he did agree to the contract, the restructure last year, where it was essentially a pay increase, but they took the money from this year and added it. They weren't giving him any new money. So I think he knew that this was a possibility. But when he accepted that contract, he didn't know that he was going to tear his bicep and miss most of the season. And that's kind of the risk the play there. And I really don't understand the point of view thinking that he's going to get any new money without the added years. And that's something that he also touched on. He said, I want added years, obviously, because that's where you get the most money from is you add years to it. That comes with the money. And I want to finish my career in New England. But as we move closer to the season and as there's less talks, it seems, I really don't see much of a resolution here other than just having him play it out and leave next offseason, unless Elliott Wolf and Matt Groh and Gerard Mayo are really going to kind of change their stance. But I don't see why they would at this point.
Right. This is a guy that won't be in the picture when they're back in the playoffs 2 to 3 years from now. 32 years old, great pass rusher, but does fall off in December, does have his injury history. And again, from a money-making perspective and what makes sense with the cap, you don't just pay someone because they've been good. Yeah, you want to do right by them, but it's about a foundation year, as Gerard Mayo says it and puts it, so it's year one, but also what works out in year 2 and year 3 when Drake May's a quarterback. So you kind of hinted at it there, but do you think it goes any other way? Because I agree, hearing from that, it sounds like he's going to play it out and he's going to walk in free agency end of the season. Or the way I look at it too, the way the Patriots can play it, and why I don't like that they let it become this where he's a pending free agent. If they got something done earlier this offseason, Keegan, and he's not a rental to whatever team he lands with, they could get more back in trade return. So basically I'm asking, it sounds like it's still an open book for him, but what do you think happens with Matt Judon down the line? Do you think he walks in free agency, or do you think it still can be something week to week that may change with him and the Pats?
Yeah, if you're looking at Matt Judon as an asset, which I think is how these guys look at their players, they've horribly mismanaged it because they've waited too long. Now they've come to a point where they're clearly not, and they don't intend on giving him any more money. And if they do trade him, like you said, the return is going to be less than what you would have gotten 2-3 months ago. So I think they're just going to let it play out, and that's a mismanagement of what he is to this team, which is a rebuilding franchise. They're really kind of in no man's land. They have a direction that they want to go in. Who knows if they're going to get there? But with Judon, I don't really think he fits into the plans. And with the contract he's under, you're not really going to get the maximum return that you would. Let's say if you traded him last year or even earlier this offseason.
Now, Keegan, kind of an overview here. You've been at camp almost every day, right?
Yeah, pretty much half the time.
Gosh, you've had some humid weather down there, haven't you?
It's brutal.
I would hate that. Now, for you personally, what has it been like for you? What has stood out to you overall, and I guess in today in general, what's stood out at camp?
Yeah, so me and Sean McGuire have really kind of been the tag team down here for Nesson.com, and something that we focused on every day is Drake May. Seeing what he looks like, the progression, how does he look compared to Jacoby Brissett, who is he playing with, kind of everything. Every day we've written a story called Drake May Watch, and it's here's everything that he did on this day. Today I noticed that we're seeing a little bit more of the special athlete and player that he is that made him the number 3 pick. I think you saw his athleticism a little bit today. He took the ball and ran with it. Is that because he had to, because the offensive line couldn't hold their blocks? Yeah, probably, but you could still see, these are plays that are going to actually play in real game situations, and he was able to air it out a little bit. I think they've really kind of kept restraints on him throughout practice in the early portion of camp. Today, you saw him air it out. He didn't have any completions. There were no highlight plays. He had a nice shot in the corner of the end zone that he did connect with. It wasn't really a deep shot, but I think they're loosening the restrictions a little bit recently, which is really all you really want to see out of a guy that isn't going to start early in the season, maybe not even at the midway point of the season, but you want to see them gradually move him along and get him to a point where you would feel comfortable if he has to play in a pinch.
I like that term, loosening the restrictions on him. Now, he's 21 years old. He's a young kid. How do you think he's kind of handled stepping up to the position he's in right now and knowing that he's sort of behind Jacoby Brissett right now, but there is a chance that he can step up sooner rather than later within the season? How have you seen him, just as a kid in general, kind of approach this opportunity so far through camp?
I think he's done a really good job. He hasn't really been thrown to the wolves in terms of media and the responsibilities that come with being the starting quarterback, because they have said Jacoby Brissett is our starter. So when Kay Adams comes and she's interviewing the coach and the starting quarterback, it's Jacoby Brissett. It's not Drake May. He doesn't have that responsibility, and I think they've done him a favor in that sense. But when he's out on the field, he's very clearly a leader. We've talked to his teammates. They've said he'll pick us up, he'll give us direction, he'll tell us what he needs out of him. And I think out of a 21-year-old kid, like you said, who's coming into a place where he knows he's expected to be the future of the franchise, he's done everything you can ask of him so far off the field. And then on the field, like I said, he's gradually getting to a point where you need him to be.
What has it been like, the progress you've been seeing with Jacoby Brissett? Because as it sounds, as what I've seen when I've been down there at camp, Jacoby's, and Gerard Mayo said it, he's a week 1 starter coming out of the spring, right? That's what he said. And he should be the week 1 starter he is right now. But what's the progress you've seen from Jacoby Brissett in this offensive unit? Because as much as everyone's looking for when Drake May makes his debut, and whether that's week 7, week 17, or week 1 of next year, the offense still needs to go out there and put together some competency. So what have you seen from that unit with Jacoby as it's progressed through camp, and especially at today too?
Yeah, Jacoby looks pretty good. I think you can clearly see that he's more comfortable than anybody else in the system. Austin Hooper had played in it in Cleveland, so I think he has a familiarity as well. But Jacoby clearly looks like he knows who's doing what at all times. He knows where the ball needs to go, where he needs to be. He's delivering it on time. I think he's looked about as good as you could expect. Jacoby Brissett is a career backup. Let's just call it like it is.
Yep.
But he's coming to a spot where he's going to be the day 1 starter, and he's viewed as the day 1 starter for the first time. And I think he's handled it really well. Just kind of the same thing with Drake, where he's maybe not exceeding the expectations, but he's where you would want or need him to be. And then in terms of the offense overall, there are growing pains, right? But I think that comes with playing against one of the top 3 or 4 defenses in the NFL in practice every day. Keon White's not going out there and helping out his offensive pals, trying to get him into the swing of things. Like, he's out there to knock somebody in the mouth, and he's done that. So there are growing pains. And Demario Douglas hasn't been out there in team drills every day. Kendrick Bourne's not out there every day. The offensive line is banged up. The offensive tackles, they are rotating. They're giving guys 3 or 4 days in a row starting and then moving them back along. So you've gotten a lot of different groupings. So are they finding the familiarity with each other, and are they getting comfortable? No, not really. But I don't think it's been the disaster that we've seen the last few seasons, and that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, that's a step in the right direction, at least. Now, you talk about Jacoby just being very comfortable, visibly comfortable in his role. And, we've heard him mic'd up and everything. He's quite the animated guy, bringing a lot of energy to practice and whatnot. But between him and Drake May, there's a 10-year age difference. And I think we kind of heard that, too. I think Drake May was talking about playing a video game at one point. Jacoby's like, hey, I don't play video games. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it. But what has their dynamic been like? I think it's obvious that Jacoby Brissett is, he's a veteran of the game. He knows day to day kind of what happens a little more than Drake May might in his position so far. But how has that veteran status kind of seeped through and shown to you between the young quarterback and Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah, we only see them when they're on the field, so I can only see what I see on the field, and that is they're in a competition. It's not like Jacoby Brissett's not helping him out at any point or anything like that, but they're at 2 different spots. I think the Patriots have been very intentional about there's going to be one person in Drake May's ear, and that's Alex Van Pelt. And, Ben McAdoo is there, and Jacoby's there, and he knows the offense. And Bailey Zappi has been here, so he knows New England. But there's one person in Drake May's ear, there's one person directing him, and it's Alex Van Pelt. And then obviously quarterback coach T.C. McCartney plays a big role in that. But it hasn't really been like a big brother, little brother situation. It's been pretty businesslike. I think the Patriots have done that on purpose. I think if they asked Jacoby to go out there and put his arm around Drake, he'd have no problem doing it. But I don't think that's what they want. This is, Matthew Judon, we talked about it when we talked about him. Football is a business here, and Jacoby knows this might be his only chance to be a starting quarterback, and Drake knows that eventually he will be the starting quarterback, and he needs to go earn it. So very businesslike, but there's no contention or anything like that. They're just a couple of guys going out there trying to earn the same job.
Yeah, I remember one day I was at camp, you saw it, where Drake May checked into a different type of play to beat a blitz and beat a coverage, executed at that, and Jacoby Brissett was as fired up as anyone. So I think he understands his assignment too. You said he's a career backup. He knows what it is. Wants to come in, be the starter, earn the job, keep it, and compete for it, and show he can play in the NFL. Because also just 31, he can add on years and value to his NFL career. If he comes out and executes as a starter, shows himself as a leader, and certainly there's a market for that in the NFL. Just go ask Chase Daniels, who's made millions and millions and millions just to be a backup. But Keegan, I say all that to ask you this. You know where my eyes are every day, every practice when I'm reading about it or I'm watching it. Are there any updates on the offensive line? You alluded to the tackles being shifted again. But the entire success on the team hinders on who are the 5 guys up front. If they can keep Jacoby healthy and they can keep Drake May healthy whenever he's under center. But who are the left and right tackle, or any updates there?
Yeah, Chukwuma Okorafor, who I think is the only set starter tackle. We know he will start. Just is it on the left side? Is it on the right side? He was out today, so standing in street clothes on the sideline, not great. Calvin Anderson and Darian Lowe were the 2 starters. Anderson on the right side, returning after a 1-day absence on Saturday. Lowe on the left side, where he's been the last 4 practices. I think the Patriots are kind of staying on the plan that they've had, which is 4 days at one spot, 4 days in another, and then you rotate back to second group. They've done that with Caden Wallace, Darian Lowe, Chukwuma Okorafor. So I don't really know who's going to be the starter across from Okorafor. I don't think anybody does. If they say they do, they're putting their own kind of opinion on it. I would say if I had to guess, it's going to be Okorafor and Wallace. Who's on the left side, who's on the right side? I have no earthly idea, because they both played both sides at an even pace. So that's your answer. It's a bad answer.
It scares the hell out of me. You gave me the truthful answer, though. You know what? I just need the truth.
I wish I could tell you that, Caden Wallace looks tremendous, and Chukwuma Okorafor has taken veteran days off because he's the set starter and he looks great. They don't. The offensive line looks pretty not great, I would say.
Yeah, well, they needed a left tackle going into the draft. Instead, they picked a guy that only played right tackle in college. That's neither here nor there. Keegan, we've been there. Natalie, I know you have a question for Keegan.
Yeah, I mean, obviously still trying to figure out who's going to play where, what things are going to look like. We have a preseason game coming up on Thursday, and I'm happy to see that finally happening. We're ready for football season. But first glimpse at the young guys. What are you expecting overall?
Yeah, we asked Javon Baker today, it's your first time stepping out on the field, NFL football player. What's it going to be like? And he was like, I don't know. I just kind of want to win the game, man. Like, that's all I got for you. So I think they're approaching it like I said earlier, business-like. Mm-hmm. I will say, I think it'll be interesting how they divvy up the reps with the quarterbacks. I would imagine that if Jacoby Brissett plays at all, it'll be 1, maybe 2 series. And then you'll see Drake May. Drake May will play on Thursday. It's just a matter of how much. And then when do they move to the Joe Milton, Bailey Zappi experience? Who starts over the other guy, in the third quarter, let's say? Is it going to be Bailey or is it going to be Joe Milton? We don't know yet. I think that's the most interesting aspect. Everybody wants to know about the quarterbacks, but, young wide receivers are going to play a lot. Is Juju Smith-Schuster going to play in the preseason? Is he going to have to earn his spot on this team? I think that's a really big question because he has not looked good throughout training camp. But are they going to give him an opportunity to show what he can do out in a game setting? I don't know. Tyquan Thornton, he's going to be able to carry over his training camp ascension into the games. Lot of stuff on offense. I think defensively you're going to see a big rotation. Jalen Hawkins, Gerard Mayo said will play a lot. He's kind of the guy that everybody sees as the free safety that will play alongside Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar. So a lot of things to look out for. It's going to be a full notebook for me on Thursday for sure.
Well, Keegan, appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for joining us, man. Can't wait for that Thursday night game either. Whatever you want to find, full Patriots coverage. Keegan Stiefel, NESN.com. Find him on Twitter. Find him on social media. Sean McGuire as well. Those guys got full coverage. Keegs, thanks for coming on, man. And sure enough, we'll probably see you after the preseason game. A little post-op. You down?
Yep, sounds good.
Thanks, Keegs. All right,
thanks, guys.
And make sure to catch full coverage on the Patriots. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, new episodes dropping of Foxborough Rush. We'll have a special Thursday episode this week with a preview to the preseason game that'll kick off that night. That's Foxborough Rush, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime. And if you're watching, NESN's YouTube, NESN Twitch, go ahead and hit the subscribe button there as well. Follow along on social media too. All right, and so going back to Olympics talk. Mm-hmm. Team USA, women's basketball, 3-on-3, 1 bronze.
Yep.
We know the men's and the women's teams, they're going to win gold. Mm-hmm. But see this happen. They beat Canada 16-13. Credit to Sierra Burdick, Derica Hamby, Ryan Howard, Haley Van Lith. They won the bronze. I was just thinking about watching this. It's tough to see when we're a nation that the women's basketball team is so far ahead of the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. They've dominated. They won like 57 straight wins.
Yeah.
I think in Olympic play in actual basketball. Mm-hmm. Only get bronze. But the men went 2-5 in pool play. Yes, they lost Jimmer Fredette, their best player, but didn't even qualify to make it onto the knockout rounds. If you were putting together a 3-on-3 men's basketball team, who would you see on that? And this one I'm going with the series of NBA players. Okay. Because, I mean, you know what? If there's an actor that's good at basketball, like Michael Irvin from The Longest Yard, then fine.
Yep.
But who would you put on that basketball team, 3-on-3 men's basketball?
Well, we could even go farther and say, like, do you want this to be like a modern day NBA or do you want it to be like an all team? Like, I know we've done the NHL, like,
all time. Let's go modern day.
Modern day.
Yeah, we'll go modern day on this.
Well, I mean, the first point of the men's team not even making it like to the knockout round, that was just
sad.
Yeah, I know you're disappointed about that.
Very.
So, yeah, and it's tough to not see that kind of representation. I think I liked our team. I think too, when you look at the roster, especially the team that just won the championship too. I mean, I have Jason Tatum, Derek White, Drew Holiday. That's 3 that already have.
Just roll the Celtics
really,
out
yeah,
there.
Just roll them out. We know they're successful. They've got chemistry. But if I were to kind of mix things up, I really like Derek White in general. I'd say, I mean, I'm not going to play favorites, but I think
he'd be brilliant in 3-on-3.
Yeah,
he's so
yes,
smart.
Yeah,
always makes the right decision.
Yes,
good all around player.
Yeah,
I think he'd be brilliant in 3-on-3 basketball.
And obviously, he puts his body on the line to make the right play. We saw that.
Teeth too.
Teeth too. That was awful to watch, but hey, he got him fixed. He looks great. I would like to see him on my 3-on-3 team. If I were gonna go anywhere else, I think Steph Curry. I think you can kind of
that pick.
You can kind of like trust him with a shot.
Yes,
I mean,
no doubt.
It's just kind of a guarantee. So I've got Derek White, Steph Curry, and Joel Embiid.
You'd go Joel Embiid.
Joel
Size,
Embiid.
dominate the boards.
Yeah, yeah.
And you could go one more because I do
Joel
have a
Embiid.
sub. So you could pick 4 if you
Oh
want.
gosh, you're putting me on the spot now. I don't even know who I would want my sub to be.
I would go, so if I put the team together, I was
Yeah.
going more with the finalists, the guys that didn't make Team USA.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking if they're there right now. But I like your picks too.
Okay.
Because also Derek Wright was a sub.
Yeah.
And Joel Embiid shouldn't even be on the 5-on-5 team. So I can see him out there being on 3-on-3.
Yep.
I would go Tyrese Maxey, point guard for the 76ers.
Oh, okay.
Super fast,
Yep.
super electric, great scorer. I need a point guard out there, super fast. I think that's pivotal in a game where it's constant. Because 3-on-3 is in half court. It's not full court, so the game changes. But Maxey to me is so electric, I'd put him out there. Then I would go Paolo Banchero. You need a better shooter, but really good defender. Great rebounder. You need that in 3-on-3 as well because
Yep.
there's a lot of size. So I think you do that along with his all-around scoring, can create his own shot.
Yep.
Then I would go Paul George. Give me a really athletic wing, really good defender,
Yep.
great shooter because his game has evolved.
Yep.
And in 3-on-3 with more space, he could be the vintage Paul George at slashing and attacking the rim. And then my sub,
Yep.
I do put a Celtic on this.
Okay.
I would go Peyton Pritchard. I think he would absolutely
Ooh.
cook in 3-on-3 basketball.
Yes.
I mean, he's a bucket, great handles,
Yeah.
undersized, but still a serviceable defender, else he wouldn't play for the Celtics at all. And I think he can go out. We've seen him do it, score 30, 40 plus.
Yeah.
I think he could dominate in 3-on-3 basketball. So,
I really
so
like
Pritch
that.
is my sub.
Your
My
sub.
team's kind of undersized, but I still like my team.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I've got a 7-foot Embiid on there. Also, you mentioned 76ers. I like the 76ers. Okay, so we've got 6'4", Derek White, 7 feet Embiid.
There you go.
And then you've got Steph
Bigger
Curry
team
at
than I.
6'2". Yeah, so I think I've got you beaten height.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're well rounded. I like that.
I'm trying to think of when I watch them because like Jimmer Fredette's on the team and he's their best player. I get it. And these guys have played 3-on-3 basketball. One of them, Rick Barry's son. Like there's a tactical aspect to it.
Yeah.
It should be the 5 best or the 3 best in theory.
Yeah.
3 next best hoopers in USA. So look, give me Tyrese Maxey. Give me something like that. Give me Darius Garland.
Yeah.
Give me Donovan Mitchell. You know, give me Jalen Brunson. Give me Josh Hart, a guy that's a dog out there that'll play
Yep.
hard because that's 3-on-3 basketball. Like start from there and then move forward. Jimmer, yeah, he's great in China, but like he's not in the NBA for a reason. So give me like Tyrese Maxey's a better 3-on. He's a
Yeah.
better basketball player than Jimmer Fredette. I'm going to start there. So he's a better 3-on-3 basketball player than Jimmer Fredette, in my opinion.
Okay. If you were to have an all-time 3-on-3, who would your team be?
Ooh.
I think it'd be easy to say like my big 3.
Give me your big 3
I don't
all
know who
time.
my sub would be, but you got to put Larry Bird in there. Fun
Okay.
fact: I played basketball when I was in 3rd and 4th grade. I wore high top Converse.
Nice.
I probably
I'm
didn't know.
surprised you still have feet. Like, I'm surprised they survived. It's
Yeah, I know.
nuts people used to play in that.
Different story these days, that's for sure. But yeah, I used to want to be like Larry Bird, so I wore the
Nice.
Chuck Taylors, the high tops,
There you go.
Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan.
That's a great 3.
Mm-hmm.
You have one of the best scorers of all time in Larry Bird, one of the best defenders of all time in Scottie Pippen, and then Michael Jordan, who's the greatest basketball player of all time.
Ever. Yes.
So I would start with MJ. I'm going to go MJ. I'm going to go peak LeBron, like 2012 Miami Heat
Ooh.
LeBron in 3-on-3 basketball.
Yeah.
That Scottie pick is good.
You can go for it.
I would go prime Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. Prime Shaquille
No
O'Neal.
Kobe. I'd go Kobe as my sub, I guess. Got to pay respects to him. See, again, I'm
Kobe
going
on the
sub, but I'm
bench.
cheating here. Look, I like your 3-on-3 modern day
Yeah.
and all time. No matter what, that's a better 3 than we've seen out there for Team USA men's
Yeah.
basketball.
Wish we saw them out there but hey, good for the women.
Women
Bronze
picked it
medal.
up.
Yeah.
They got bronze. And the men's and women's full-on 5-on-5 regular basketball teams, they're locks. They're going to get gold as well. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Boston has entered the chat. She's Natalie Nori. I'm George Blecci. We came to you guys from the PNC Bank studio. Please, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime, like, subscribe, rate, and review. You can email us, thechat@nesson.com, sending questions. Send in your dream 3-on-3 basketball team as well. We'll put it out there. If you're watching on YouTube or Nesson Twitch, subscribe as well. This is Boston's Entered the Chat. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.